Hello everyone, I am Dr. Eric Morrison. This is 7 Under 3, and I'll be covering trading education, more specifically Forex swing trading, using the TC2000 platform. Hello, this is the weekly review for the Forex currencies. I'm going to start off with the Aussie dollar, Canadian dollar. And so for the trades that we started off on Sunday, there were no trades for this particular currency the entire week. Now there is a phenomenon that I am noticing with the trading. So in order to understand the rules and that kind of thing, I want you to be aware of this actual phenomenon with the Heikin Ashi body below the RL10. As you can see, it was this candle, immediate decline all the way down to the Z3. For Aussie dollar Swiss franc, we had two good trades. We had a 1-2-3 punch out and then another 1-2-3 punch out, which was good for the week. Aussie dollar Japanese yen, and no trades here. This trade was taken because it was below the RL10 with a loss here. I went off with a 1 and then a small scratch here for the Aussie dollar Japanese yen. Aussie dollar New Zealand dollar, did not take this trade. Went all the way down to the Z3. Risk reward was not that, so I didn't take that trade. Then we had a 1-2-3 punch out on the longs. Nice. Aussie dollar US dollar was no trade, as you can see. Nothing but Heikin Ashi bodies above the RL10. This is a week short, even though this came down, hit the Z3 and came all the way back up. So it did not fulfill our rule with actual price action below the RL10. This was below, but the Heikin Ashi body was above. So no trades for Aussie dollar US dollar. Canadian dollar Swiss franc, we had a 1-2-3 punch out and a good overall trade. And as you can see here with this candle, the Heikin Ashi body above the RL10, you could have moved your stops up to protect your first two orders and had a smaller lot for this particular gain. It's up to you. Confirmed with the weekly Heikin Ashi to the upside. Canadian dollar Japanese yen, we had a 1-2 loss here with this particular long. We went back in, traded, understanding that the Heikin Ashi body was here above the RL10, immediately shot back up for another entry, and then again a small scratch. Confirmed with weekly Heikin Ashi side. Swiss franc Japanese yen, beautiful 1-2-3 punch out, and again with this particular Heikin Ashi was again to the downside. Could have had your stop here at above or right at the belly of the dragon. Euro Aussie dollar, we had a 1-2 and then we were out on this particular short. We went up again against this for this loss. However, we did have a doji body below the RL10, another trip to the downside. So, and all of these Heikin Ashi bodies were below the RL10. So if you had a smaller lot size for this order, would have been a nice trade to the downside to follow that trend. Euro Canadian dollar, we had a 1-2 scratch out. However, the body of the Heikin Ashi was below the RL10, would have been a nice trip to the downside with your stop here at the height of that candle, and then a nice 1-2-3 punch out. Confirmed with the Heikin Ashi below the RL10. Euro Swiss franc, nice 1-2-3 punch out. This was to the downside. So if you did take this particular short because the Heikin Ashi body was below the RL10, your stop up here would have a small gain on the next day. Then a loss on the third day. Euro British pound, had a nice 1-2-3 punch out, and then one trade here for a loss here on Euro British pound on Friday. Was confirmed by the weekly Heikin Ashi. Euro Japanese yen, beautiful 1-2-3 punch out, and again Heikin Ashi bodies above the RL10. If you wanted to continue with a smaller lot size, you move the stop down to the height of this additional order, right? So if it goes up against you like it did here, you're only out this on that smaller lot size. Euro Norwegian krone, beautiful 1-2-3 punch out, and then another 1-2-3 punch out. Euro New Zealand dollar, beautiful 1-2-3 punch out, hit our Z3 excursion, which was our probability there. Continued, no further trade for the rest of the week. Euro Swedish krone, we were out for a loss on the first one, and then out for another loss, and then if you were in this particular trade, you would have been out for a loss with a smaller lot, even though the Heikin Ashi body was below the RL. On the last day, if you took that smaller lot trade with the Heikin Ashi body below the RL10, nice gain to get it all back, for Euro Swedish krona. Euro US dollar, beautiful 1-2-3 punch out, and since the Heikin Ashi body was above the RL10 here at this point, no further trade. British pound Aussie dollar, we had a loss on this particular order. However, if you did take because the Heikin Ashi body is below the RL10 as far as momentum, and we had the 200 moving day average, took the short, your stop here, the height, nice gain for the recovery back. So you got it all back plus some for this particular trade. British pound, Canadian dollar, had initial trade here if you would have took a smaller lot with the loss, and then a 1-2, and you would have been out with a loss here, unless you had your order with a 1-to-1 at 30 moving day average, which would have been your target. At least 1-to-1 or 1-to-2. This would have been a stretch for his probabilities. 1-to-1 or 1-to-2 would have been a nice trade for your target here if you get a gain. If you had your stop up here and you stayed in for this entire thing, hoping that it would go down all the way down to the RL270, it did not, and you would have had a loss here at the height of this candle. But the RL30 or the 30 moving day average would have been a good target for a 1-to-1. So you try to do is get to the next, in terms of probabilities, a 1R or 1 probability ratio for your target, or 1-to-2. British pound, Swiss franc, this was a continuation. Did not take the trade. No trade for his short. The long took the trade. Last day, there's small loss here on British pound, Swiss franc. British pound, Japanese yen, beautiful 1-2-3 punch out. If you stayed in this trade, you would have had, with this micro lot, you would have had this, or a smaller lot, you would have had this as a potential loss for this trade. No trade for the rest of the week. British pound, New Zealand dollar, outstanding 1-2-3 punch out. One of the better trades. Since the Heikin Ashi bottom of the RL10, would have been a nice just to punch out with those three. Did not take this trade. The Heikin Ashi body was not above the RL10, and no trades for the rest of the week. British pound, US dollar, beautiful 1-2-3 punch out. This was here on the, I did not take this long here because the Heikin Ashi body was below the RL10 when it printed and right on the RL10, so I couldn't tell whether or not it was a red or a green at that point, so I did not stick with that particular trade. Zealand, US Canadian dollar, we had, if you would have took this short on a smaller lot size, we had a loss here, and then on this trade here with a 1-2, you would have been out for a loss on the last day of Friday, which is against the Heikin Ashi weekly Heikin Ashi. Zealand, I did take a trade here on Sunday for a 1-2-3 punch out, and none of the Heikin Ashi buys were above the RL10, so I was done with my 1-2-3. Went here, went all the way up to the Z3, and is kind of hovering at this liquidity zone. Zealand Japanese yen, this was a 1-2 with a small loss, additional 1 and out, and no further trade for the rest of the week. Zealand US dollar, you had a 1-2 with a loss. If you would have took a smaller lot size, the Heikin Ashi body was above the RL10, would have hit a loss here, and then as it went up above the RL10, took another loss here, with another trade here up there. So this currency is consolidating, period. All right, a lot of chop. You see the dragon kind of chewed up here, long wicks to the upside and the downside, all hovering around this particular zone. Overall, weekly Heikin Ashi though is up to the upside. You have the RL270 up to the north. US Canadian dollar, it's kind of same thing. It's kind of choppy here. You have 2 candles off the RL10 order with a loss. No trade here. If you would have took this trade at a smaller lot size, would have been a loss here, and no further trade for the rest of the week. US Swiss franc, this currency just kept going all the way up, which means weakening against the US dollar. All right, so look at, there is no trade. We did not chase this all the way up. All right, so per our rules, the 1-2-3 punch out. You have to wait for a retracement. US dollar Japanese yen had a trade here with an out because the green body of the price action was below the RL10. Did not get in a trade. This is a week long. So anything that didn't stay above that RL10 is a week long, and avoid those trades. So small gain for US dollar Japanese yen. US dollar Norwegian krone, we had initial, no trade until here with a loss on Friday. US dollar Swedish krona, we had a trade here with a loss. It's emerging dragon, continued to the upside. Had another trade here with a loss here with a stop at the RL10. The weekly Heikin Ashis to the upside. This shows significant retracement here to the downside, which is right around the Z3 liquidity zone. Now look at this. Interesting amount of liquidity here with this Bollinger Band Z3. US dollar, South African Rand, beautiful. 1-2-3 punch out. Okay? And the Heikin Ashi body's below the RL10, so with this, if you took a smaller one, you had another gain, and then as that body is above the RL10, you would have been a stop and taken your profit at this particular one candle. Silver, US dollar, interesting squeeze here. There was a lot of news up there that they said that a lot of folks were in the shorts shorts based off the GameStop. They wanted to apply it to silver, and folks were, I guess, trading both sides at this point. Beautiful last week, 1, 2, 3 on Sunday. I did not partake in this. And then as you see to the downside with the Heikin-Ashi body below the RL10, beautiful 1, 2, 3 punch out. Look at this shooting star. Right up past the Z3, come right back down for a 3. Gold US dollar, same thing. Had a 1, 2, and then out for loss, which showed significant unless you had your target here at the 30 moving day average. But here, beautiful 1, 2, 3 punch out. South African and Japanese yen, we did not chase this, and no trade for the entire week. Well, folks, that's all I have for the Forex Weekend Review. We're currently conducting a Forex Bootcamp and a Forex Intermediate course. If you're interested, click on the link below. And remember, ruthless risk management. Have a great weekend, everyone, and I'll see you on Sunday. Well, if you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button below and the subscribe button. And if you want more information on TC2000, I have an affiliate link below. If you open up a TC2000 account, you will receive a $25 discount using that link. Thank you for your time.